All right, using formulas in geometry, section 1.5. As you look around the room, I do have a lot of different geometry posters up that do include all the formulas that we are going to talk about today. For the most part, again, today is review from either Math 7 or Math 8 with some of the geometry parts you talk about in there. So these formulas should look familiar, okay? Biggest thing is just making sure you can identify which formula goes with what, how to find the different ones. But using formulas in geometry, section 1.5. All right, first thing here, vocab, perimeter. Perimeter is the sum of the side lengths of a closed plane figure. Short-term definition, perimeter is the distance around. Okay, really you can sum perimeter up as the distance around. Okay, so if I had a rectangle here, the perimeter would be if I found all the sum of those lengths all the way around it. There's perimeter. Area is the number of non-overlapping unit squares of a given size that will exactly cover the interior of a plane figure. Basically, area is the space on the inside. Okay, so again, if I had a rectangle here, area is all this area on the inside. It's how many square units could be on that inside. That is the area. Okay. Height is the length of an altitude of the figure. You will have to remember what altitude is for future areas and such. But the height is the length of an altitude. The toughest one we're going to talk about today is in a triangle. So in a non-right triangle, the height is the perpendicular part there to the tip there. That would be the height. Okay. In a right triangle, the height is the one side there. So those are kind of easier. And then in a rectangle or square, the height is already given to you. It's either the length or the width, depending on how you look at it. Okay? So I have to know what height is. Again, perpendicular, straight up and down. Diameter is a segment that has endpoints on the circle and that passes through the center of the circle, also the length of that segment. Diameter is the distance all the way across or halfway? All the way. Have to know that. Diameter is the distance all the way across on a circle. Okay. Radius, the next one, is a segment whose endpoints are the center of a circle and a point on the circle. The distance from the center of a circle to any point on the circle. The radius is the one that goes to the center. Okay. The biggest mistake students make is they will confuse those two.
It's like 75%.
Circumference. Very similar to perimeter. Okay, very similar to perimeter. But the only difference is circumference is used for circles. Okay, circumference is very similar to perimeter. If I had a circle here, the circumference is the distance around that circle. Okay, so that distance going all the way around that circle. That would be the circumference. All right, and then last but not least, we have pi. Pi is the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. Essentially, pi equals c over d. Okay, it's the ratio of circumference to diameter. That's where that comes from. Okay, denoted by the Greek letter pi. Today we will leave some answers in terms of pi, and we'll talk about that. But the value of pi is irrational. Talking again about classifying numbers. Pi is the most popular irrational answer, or popular irrational number. It's often approximated by 3.14. We will use that a lot. Or if it asks you to, you can use the fraction 22 over 7 to approximate that as well. All right, and when we're dealing with using pi, we will typically use approximate symbols. So the two squiggles. Yes, Troy? Pi is not an imaginary number.
There's a lot of pi.
All right, so here we go. We're going to start going into this. First, we're going to talk about perimeter and area of rectangles and squares. Okay, perimeter and area of rectangles and squares. Perimeter figure is the sum of the lengths of the sides. So again, adding up all four sides in a rectangular square. Or it's the area is the number of square units enclosed by the figure. So again, area is the space on the inside. This is the formula for perimeter. Again, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So, take both lengths, add them together, take both widths, add them together, then add those together, and you get the perimeter. Or if you wanted to, you could literally just go all the way around and add all 4 sides, and you get the perimeter. A lot of different ways to do this. Don't feel like there's just one way you have to go. Find a way that works for you. Okay, and then area is the length times the width. Okay, so we're taking the length times the width. Again, think about it like if you had grid paper, you wanted to multiply. Okay, you take the length times the width, and you find out how many different small grids are in there. That's what we're doing. Okay, square. Now, square is a different formula just because all the sides are the same. You can do 4 times sides, so 4 times the given side length, and you can get the perimeter, which is the same as adding all 4 sides up. Okay, or the area is side squared. Well, we get side squared because s times s is s squared. Okay. Again, if you take length times width, you get the same answers. Take the same thing as taking side times side. So do realize the square formula, you can use the rectangle formula and get the same exact answer. All right. So let's work through this here. Number 1, I have a rectangle on number 1. I want to find both the perimeter and the area. Okay. Perimeter. In rectangles, the opposite sides are what, Drew? Starts with a C. What's the word, though? They are equal. Starts with a C. The better definition. Catherine? Congruent. So if this is 32, the opposite side is also 32. If this one is 15, the opposite side is also 15. Perimeter, I can add up all 4 sides. I can take 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Doesn't matter which way you go here. Again, a lot of different ways to work it out. But the perimeter of this figure would actually be what? Ryan? 94 centimeters. Nice job. Now, because we are in geometry class, units are important here. Perimeter is just the units, so 94 centimeters. Okay, it's not centimeters squared, centimeters cubed, not anything like that. It is 94 centimeters. Next, we have the area. In order to find the area, what am I going to need to do, Caitlin?
32 times 15.
Very good. A equals 32 times 15. You can multiply that out. Or if you wanted to, you can multiply that mentally by using maybe the distributive property. 15 times 30 plus 15 times 2. Just throwing that out there. I don't know. That's how I did it earlier. A lot of different ways to multiply.
Oh, I'm not talking about that.
Okay. So I'm going to find my area. The area comes out to be what, Troy? Okay, now it's 480 what? Centimeters squared. Now, anytime we're finding area, we need centimeters squared. Now, why is it units squared? Because I'm taking centimeters times centimeters, which is like saying x times x, which is x squared. That's where I get centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared. Okay? That's where I get that unit. What about number 2? What shape is number 2, Tom? That is a square. So to find the perimeter, okay, I can write 12 all the way around and find it. Or I could take how many sides are congruent in a square, Tom? 4. 4 times 12 gets me a perimeter of 48 meters. Nice job. And then I can find the area. The area of a square, I could use length times width like a rectangle. I get the same answer. Or I could take side squared because it is a square. The area is what there, Jack? 144 meters squared. Again, recognizing the correct units is important. Try these next 2 on your own. All right, Anna, what is the perimeter for number 3? 10 meters is, or 10 units. There you go. If it doesn't give us a unit, we'll just say units. For example, on that one, it just says units. So 10 units. What would the area of that be, Drew? Nice job. 6.25 units squared. Okay, what about number 4? What is the perimeter for number 4? Keegan, what do you have for the perimeter of number 4?
I didn't get that far.
So perimeter, how would you find it if you did?
The length plus width times length plus width.
Okay, so 12 plus 17 is what?
29.
So 2 times 29 will give me a perimeter of what?
58.
Nice job. 58 meters. And what would the area of that be? Martina?
What? Oh, 204 centimeters squared.
204 what?
Centimeters squared?
How about meters squared?
Meters squared. Well, I use
And there's our correct units.
I use centimeters on both ends.
All right, next here, we're going to talk about the perimeter and area of a triangle. Now, perimeter is still the same thing. Okay, now take all 3 sides, add them together, you get the perimeter of a triangle. Okay, A plus B plus C. The area, however, is going to be A equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, does anybody know why there is a 1/2 associated with that? Why is there 1/2, Troy?
Because with the square, you use your basically meant to right triangle, so you're
Essentially, really, what's a triangle? It's what, Nick?
half a square.
Half a square or half a rectangle, essentially where that comes from. Okay, if you look at that up there, I can connect it and make it a rectangle, and yeah, that triangle is half of that. So when I take my base times my height, or my length times my width a lot of times in a rectangle, and I take half of that, that's where I get my rectangle, and that's where I get my triangle now. Okay? In a right triangle, it's very easy to see the height because it is denoted there. But if it's not a right triangle, we have to make sure we recognize the height would be that perpendicular segment. Okay, perpendicular segment to the tip. Now, number 5, I want to find the perimeter and area of each triangle. Okay, now number 5, some of you might be able to solve for y, but this is not asking us to because it's supposing that you do not know Pythagorean theorem. If you do know it, that's okay. So number 5, if I wanted to find the perimeter, I want to find the distance around. I have 10, 8, and y. Leaving that as an expression in terms of y, what would the perimeter be there, Peyton? What would the perimeter be? Perimeter, bud, not height, not area.
Oh.
So what's this side?
10,
What's this side?
8,
Add those two together and you get what?
18,
Plus.
y.
So to express that as terms, it'd be perimeter equals 18 plus y. Okay, if you don't know it, that's fine. We're just going to associate it as the letter it is, and it's 18 plus y. Now, using Pythagorean theorem, you could have found out that y is equal to, does anybody know it?
24.
The actual perimeter would have been 24. Nice job. Sorry, you don't have to know that yet. That's in a couple chapters. We'll do that for sure. Okay, next one here now. I want to find the area. To find the area, I want to take half the base times the height. My base is what, Max? My height is what? Okay, what's half of my base times my height then, Max? Okay, so what is that? Simplify that.
4y.
My area would be 4y feet squared. Okay, yeah, I can express that in terms of variables just fine. Okay, 8 times y is 8y. Half of 8y is 4y. So my area there would be 4y feet squared. Yes, Martina? No, because this wants you to do it.
But that's weird.
I know. I have no problems if you actually do work it out and solve. There's some more work for you, but that's fine. I know. I'm sorry. They don't think you know Pythagorean theorem. Number 6. I want to find the perimeter of that. Again, perimeter is the distance around. What 3 parts might you want to add together to find the perimeter, Jersey? Not all of them. There's 4 parts up there. Okay, so which 3?
You know, let's say roughly.
Yes.
8.5 centimeters, 9 centimeters, 6.7 centimeters.
Very good. Add up those 3 sides. Again, you don't need the height there for a perimeter because perimeter is distance around. So 8.5 plus 9 plus 6.7. Again, realizing that's 9.0. Line up your decimals when you add or subtract. A little review there for us. What do you get when you add those up, Catherine?
25.2.
Is it 25.2? 24.2, I believe. The perimeter is 24.2 centimeters. Now again, I need to find the height. Okay, now again, look at it. I'm using the height here of 6, the base of 9. A lot of different ways to do it. Half of base times height. I could do half of the height. Get 3 times 9. What do I get for an area here? Whichever way you do it, Trevor. Nice job. You get 27 centimeters squared. Again, the biggest thing there is recognizing you have to remember that half. I could have taken 6 times 9, 54, and then taken my half, and I still get 27. I could have taken half of 6, which is 3. 3 times 9 is still 27. Somewhere along the way, you have to multiply by a half. Okay? And again, if you do it mentally, you can multiply a lot of different ways. Try these two. Find the perimeter and area of these triangles. All right, let's look at number 7 here. What would the perimeter of number 7 be? Camden, what's the perimeter? Nice work, sir. And what would the area of that figure be, Jessica? 54 centimeters squared. Nice job. Again, what's the key to finding area of a triangle? You have to remember the half. That's the biggest thing you're going to have to remember. If anybody makes a mistake, that's where it's going to be. Remember that half. Oh, boy. What do those tick marks show on number 8? They means they are what, Tom? Congruent. So if that left side's 18, the right side's 18. What's the perimeter then, Tom? 61 meters. Nice work, sir. What would the area of this figure be then, Mr. Goldap?
I don't know.
What's my base, Nick?
Wait, which one? 8?
Yeah, what's the base?
25.
What's the height?
10.
10 times 25 is?
200. No, 250.
And what do we always have to remember in triangles?
It has to be the half.
So what's half of 250?
125.
Hey, you got that one. Nice work, sir. 125 meters squared.
I just didn't get rid of it.
That's all right. All right. We've done rectangles, squares, triangles, and now we have circles. Again, as I said, a lot of review here. Circles. Okay, circumference is the distance around a circle. Okay, circumference, we're going the distance around. Very similar to like a perimeter. Okay. You can use it as pi times diameter or 2 times pi times the radius. I personally always like C equals pi times diameter. I like associating diameter with it. Just that helps denote the difference between rate or area and circumference. Circumference need diameter. Okay. Area is the space inside the circle. So it's all this space right on the inside. And yes, as you can tell, I cannot stand the lines. I'm sorry. I was not a good colorer back in the day. But the area there would be A equals pi times the radius squared. Okay. As you look through there, my formulas, I will note here this third step, C equals 8 pi and A equals 16 times pi. If it ever asks you to leave your answer in terms of pi, that's what it means. It means you do everything but multiplying it by pi. Okay, leaving things in terms of pi is a lot easier because it's one less step than finding the actual answer or approximation. Okay, leaving answers in terms of pi is a lot simpler work. Okay, and if we do something with terms of pi today, I would like to use 3.14 as pi. All right, so let's work through here the first one. Number 9. I want to find the circumference and area of those circles. What's the circumference? What's the formula for circumference, Ryan? Ooh, not n. Pi times diameter. Nice work, sir. So what is the diameter here, Ryan? 4, because I'm given that. It is 4. So 4 pi, boom. That would be leaving your answer in terms of pi. A lot simpler, right? However, I do want you to approximate on this one. If you use 3.14 for pi, what do you get for an answer, Drew? 12 point what? 56 is correct. And that would be centimeters. Okay, that's approximately 12.56 centimeters. What is the formula for area of a circle? Caitlin, what's the formula for area? A equals pi times the radius squared. Well, if my diameter is 4, what is my radius, Caitlin? 2. Radius is 2. So I have A equals pi times 2 squared. Well, what is 2 squared, Caitlin? So A equals 4 pi. Oh, there's leaving your answer in terms of pi for area. That's good. If I wanted to actually approximate that, though, Troy, do you think you can do that tough math for me? What is it? 12.56 centimeters squared. Nice job. Now, what do you notice about those? That is the only time the circumference and area are equivalent, is when the diameter is 4. That's the only time circumference and area are equivalent. It's kind of unique. Yes, sir? If it asks you to, yes. Some of them do, I think. Number 10. I want to find the circumference for number 10. What does it give me there? Noah, does it give me the radius or the diameter? Radius. So what's the diameter for number 10? 10. It is 10. So to find the circumference, I would take 10 times what, Noah? 3.14. Or pi. Hey, there's in terms of pi. C equals 10 pi. Now I can take it times 3.14. Now that's pretty good mental math because I'm multiplying by 10. What do I get for an answer, Tina? 31.4. Nice work, sir. 31.4 centimeters. Tina? I don't know.
Yes, you did.
I might have. The next one here, area. I'm given the what again, Keegan? Is that the radius or diameter I'm given? The radius. So to find the area, what am I going to square? 5, yeah. So A equals 5 squared times pi. What is 5 squared, Hannah? Good. So I have 25 pi. Well, that's in terms of pi right now. Now I'm going to take it times 3.14, and I get an actual answer of what, Peyton?
I have to do this?
Yep, that's kind of why we're going through it in class.
It's really confusing. Like, just not the multiplying.
Can you put her back in algebra?
That's what I said. I told you that.
Peyton, you have it yet?
Almost. Almost there.
Thank you. 78.5 centimeters squared. Nice job. Okay, try these two on your own. Leave both of them in terms of pi. Leave them in terms of pi. All right, number 11. Circumference in terms of pi. In terms of pi, that would be what, Jack?
6. Pi.
Circumference, sir.
Oh, I said that. Pi.
Anna? Yes. 12 pi. Because we use diameter. So it's 12 pi. And the area in terms of pi would be what, Trevor? 36 pi. Because I would need to find the radius, which is 6. 6 squared is 36. Number 12. What is the circumference in terms of pi, Drew?
It's 6 pi.
Good work, sir. And my area, again, in terms of pi, would be what, Austin?
Are you on 9 pi?
9 pi. Nice work. Okay, leaving answers in terms of pi isn't too bad. Here is your assignment.